This is Triggered.
And you will be.
It is summer.
Chantel is so thrilled this year because she got central air installed. And we moved in here and the central air is still not installed. So she's having the best time and I am like melting. I'm melting.
We put the AC on for the first time yesterday because it was like 36 degrees.
Yes.
And I was just like, this is a luxury that I forgot about.
Yeah.
I forgot about this luxury and I'm so pleased. I'm so thrilled.
I'm happy
blessed.
for you, babe.
You're like, I am sweating. Now, and maybe some of our listeners have experienced this as well. I'm going to talk to the furnace and AC guys about it. But the only thing that I'm having a problem with is the temperature difference between some of the levels in my house are pretty drastic.
Yeah, we ran into that in our one home and it was always very cold downstairs. So you'd be like bundled up.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to talk to them about it. I'm sure there's something they can do that will make it easier. But
It's a good problem to have.
It's the best problem to have, and I am blessed, and I'm so
You're
thankful
so
for
blessed.
it. Ash, we're just trucking along. I hope you all enjoyed our vault episode on Gypsy Rose. We were babies when we recorded like baby podcasters.
Yeah.
We had maybe like edited 4 episodes prior to that. Like we were very new.
We had no studio space. We didn't have the equipment. We didn't have anything. And now, look at us now.
I know.
Blessed.
We're just blessed today. I mean, my dogs have had explosive diarrhea for 4 days, but
good times.
Still blessed.
Actually, if anyone out there has any advice for me with my dog.
Oh, yeah. Tell them.
My dog has decided he can't go outside without Mummy being like on his leg. He will not go out there. Like, he's a big boy. He's part Bernese mountain dog. And I have this little tiny dog and she goes out there and she does her thing. He won't get off the deck. He will hold his
Not
pee
him.
and poop all day. I am bringing treats down there. I'm sitting in the grass. Like, I'm exhausted.
And this is a new thing.
Yeah.
He was great.
The only thing I can think of is he went to Nana's, and at Nana's house, she lives right on the beach. So he was swimming with his friends, his little dog friends.
Just having the time.
He was at summer camp, and now he's home and he's pissed off. He's like, well, why don't we live on the water? I'm like, sir, we live downtown Ottawa.
You're like, I also have the question, why do we not live on the water? Yeah. But here we are.
Here we are. So anyways,
this is what we have right now.
He's a bougie man.
I know. Well, I want to get right into it because Ash and I kind of fucked around this morning. We really took our time getting into the studio, which is fine. You know what? Again, blessed. I feel so blessed that we are in a position where we can fuck around in the morning and then hop on and get it.
You can see, like, I have a regular shirt on, but down there, pajama pants.
Ash, you're not supposed to tell people that. They're supposed to think that we're fully dressed.
You know what? But we always bring realness. Like, guys.
I know. You're just
from the waist up, I'm ready. The rest of me is just not there.
From the waist up, you're getting reality. From the waist down, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Could be anything. Okay, so
Chantel actually has no pants on.
Well, on that note, this morning was dramatic. I woke up. We wake up very early. I woke up, go downstairs, and like I said, my dogs are not well right now. They have something. I don't know what. and the little dog had soiled all over her crate. And we don't have kids this week, which means that I am as naked as I can be at any given point in time. So I did not have pants on. I had a shirt on, but I had no bottoms on whatsoever.
Who needs
So
them?
my thought was, I will take the tray out of her crate. I will throw it outside. I'll rinse it off when it's a little bit later. Well, I got poop on my hands and ended up outside on my back deck, just lips in the wind
You know,
because I had poop on my hands.
a
And in
little.
that moment, I was just like, the chances of any of my neighbors being up and looking out their window at 4:30 in the morning is pretty low.
But if they
It's
did,
dark. It's dark-ish.
well,
And I also was like, I have poop on my hands. I don't care if you see my bits. I
right.
need to get the poop off my hands immediately. So
Oh,
anyway, so if you're one of
poor
my neighbors
Chantel
and
and her
you
senior
saw all
dog.
the things, I know, listen,
It's
they're not
hard,
good, but we're
you know?
trying all the things and
What
here
do
we
you
are.
do?
Anyway,
Anyway,
anywho, want to give a shout out to our subscribers, to our
hi,
members.
guys.
We are having the best time. If you would like to have a bonus episode every month, ad-free listening, and a private chat group with us, hop on over to either our link tree or our social media pages. You can subscribe, and we will see you in the chat. We're
Yeah.
having a grand old time
And if you can't do
discussing
that,
things.
if you just follow us on
Yeah,
YouTube or Spotify or wherever you
yeah,
stream, that's a big help. Share it.
yeah.
We're
Means the
here. We're
world.
here for it. It does. Yeah,
Yeah, big time. All right, Ashley, let's get into this one.
I'm ready.
Ash, have you ever taken out a payday loan?
Never.
Wow, really?
hmm Girl.
Oh
And
my God.
because I know about them. But you know
Well,
what? I'm surprised I haven't. I was a single
mhm,
mom.
exactly. Well, I have
Yep.
most certainly taken out a couple payday loans because, again, as a single mom, um, when I got divorced, got fired from my job, and was like, I'll go back to college. That's exactly what 30-year-old Chantel should do. So things were tight. Things were
Yeah.
rough. It was tough. Um, and so I definitely took out payday loans. It was definitely terrifying. It it's criminal, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in the episode. It's criminal. The interest rate is beyond, beyond, beyond. You basically will go broke trying to pay it
Yeah.
back, and it's
Yeah.
it's horrific. But I think most people have been there. Most people have
Yeah.
been to the point where they like you can't put food on your table unless you do this thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I
So,
think, but also, if you haven't, that's great. You're blessed. But
yeah.
I think especially for people who have been divorced, who are single
Mhm.
parents, who, don't have family members that they can fall back on to financially help them.
Exactly.
Yeah, not
Exactly.
everyone has that luxury. And I think we forget
No.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, you'll see very soon how this plays into today's case, but I was like, I need to know if she's ever had one because I don't think we've ever talked about that.
No.
I definitely had. All right, let's get right into it. I'm taking you to Levering, Michigan today. Uh,
Okay.
if you've never heard of it, that's the point.
Oh,
It's not meant to be heard of. It's a small country town south of Mackinac City and north of Petoskey with just over 1,200 residents. It's the type of place, you were on the phone with me this morning when I went to my local corner store and got smokes, and Ash was like, why does he know what you smoke? Like,
she goes, "Good morning." And he goes, "Just one?" And
yeah.
I was like, "What
She's like,
the hell
he
was
knows what
that?"
you smoke? I'm like, yeah, of course. And that's exactly what this town was like too. Like, I'm in a smaller town. I'm actually in a way bigger town than this, but that was kind of the vibe. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody relatively felt safe. It was where you could thrive and raise a family. Kids were safe. It was great. But what happened on March 6th, 2014, shook that community to its core. A 911 call comes in, and 28-year-old Amber Smith is absolutely panicking. And this 911 call gave me a pit in the bottom of my stomach because the operator picks up and this woman is hyperventilating. And the worst part is you can hear her little kid in the back seat of the car
Those are the worst. The
because
worst.
he doesn't even know what's going on. He's just a little lad.
Yeah.
And it's awful. She's panicking, and through tears and the whimpers of her young son, Amber explains that she just got home from dropping her older son off at school, and someone broke into the house and she needed help. She had stepped inside and saw that the place was ransacked, just trashed. She said, "There's stuff all over the floor. There's food all over the floor." So in the span of like an hour and a half, 2 hours, obviously some shit went down at her house. And she did what I think a lot of people would do in this situation. She doesn't know where her fiance is. It's just her and her son. So she goes back out to the car
Yeah.
and
You have a
calls
little
911.
person, you've gotta go back.
Exactly. She's not
Mhm.
going through the house.
No.
So the 911 operator is like, "Okay, who is in the house?" And she's like, "When I left, my fiance Trent was sleeping, but I don't know where he is now. He's not answering his phone." So the 911 operator's like, "Stay in your car." She's trying to calm her down. Now, they live in a rural area, so they're not alone. There were other houses on the street,
Mhm.
but they were really well spaced apart and it wasn't a well-known street. So police were actually having a hard time finding where she was. So the
Oh,
911 operator tells her, "Pull your car down to the end of your driveway so that police can see you. Like put your four ways on so that they know it's you. They'll get to you. I promise. Stay on the phone with me." And I again, I'll try to post the 911 call because she's panicking and my heart just broke for her. Police show up, finally. They enter the home, and just like Amber had said, there's clothes, books, food everywhere, as if the family home had been robbed. They're clearing each room, walking through each house, or walking through each part of the house, and they enter the eerily still bedroom where Trent had been sleeping, and the bitter smell of iron fills their noses. They turn on the light, and there in the bed, covered in blood, is 35-year-old Trent Mallory, and he had been shot dead. There was nothing they could do. He had been shot in the back of the head, execution style, with what looked like a .22 caliber rifle, and they're looking at it going, he was asleep when he was shot. He didn't even know what was coming.
so he was sleeping, she took the older one to school.
Yeah, yeah.
She left. Okay.
And we'll get into all the details because Amber gives a very detailed explanation of what happened that morning.
Okay.
Um, Now there's body cameras on the officers, and so we do get the moment that they tell Amber that Trent is gone and that they can't
Okay.
do anything. And again, horrific. Yeah. Because I can't every time I listen to one of these body cam footage things, especially when they're telling someone he's gone or they're gone, it just devastates me because I cannot imagine. You're in your driveway, you don't know where your fiance is, then a police officer comes out and basically says, "I'm so sorry, there's nothing we can do for him.
Yeah.
He's gone." Awful, awful, awful. By all accounts, Trent was one of those people that everyone just liked. Nobody had a problem with him. He was known around the community as Trading Trent because he had this hobby of buying and selling guns.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a hustler in the best sense of the word. He was always trying to figure out a way to make a little bit of extra money for the family, flipping items on the side, making deals, cruising through Marketplace, which we know about.
We know about because my husband started watching American Pickers.
You know?
And for
I was
like
thinking about Mike.
for a brief time there, he thought he was an American picker. I'm like, well, you're Canadian, first of all. Second of all, what? He's
I
calmed
will
down, but
say, that set that he got, that
yeah,
antique Japanese set, is beautiful.
beautiful. But
Absolutely beautiful.
nonetheless, we had to move the set out of a dead woman's house.
I know. That was crazy.
He's like, just come with me, babe. We're just going to pick it up. Walk in. I swear to God, they probably took the body out hours before. And I'm like, in this woman's bedroom, like I was actually thinking, like, looking through my life, and I'm like, how did I get here? Every decision I've ever made has gotten me to this spot right now with this man in this dead person's house, hauling Japanese furniture. Like, what is going
That was my exact conversation with Matt this morning after I naked cleaned off dog diarrhea
like
off my hand. I
how?
was like, what led me to this moment right here? How
Yeah.
did we get here? But anyways, yeah, so that was Trent. Like, he was just a cool dude. And um Trent and Amber had been together for more than 5 years. They had known each other for years and years and years. So this was one of those relationships where they had been friends. They knew each other in high school. And it was a friendship. It was a friendship. It was a friendship. And then it wasn't. Then it
And then it
turned into something
wasn't.
more. Yeah. Yeah.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
So they had one child together, as well as another child that Trent was raising as his own, but was not his own biologically. And I
Oh.
am biased here because my dad took my brother and I in as fatherless children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes a really special, strong man to raise another man's children and love them as his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, to me, that's such a flex. And that was Trent. Trent just, Amber had Marshall when they got together, and Trent was just like, he's my kid now. I love him.
Uh,
And
eh,
I love that.
I live this life.
Yeah. Like, I
Like my
just think
husband's
it's
like,
such,
we got 2 kids. I'm like, hello.
yeah, exactly. Right. Uh, Trent and Amber very much seem to love each other, said Trey Sullivan, Smith's nephew. They never were officially married, but you'd never have known that from looking from the outside. And from the outside, this family had been through it, like real shit. The kind of hardship that either makes or breaks a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
In June 2008, when Amber's son Marshall was just a baby, they found out he needed a heart transplant,
Oh, the
which I
worst.
cannot imagine.
No, no.
I know. After 10 months of waiting in the hospital, he had a successful heart transplant at 18 months old. So just a baby. With that health issue came massive hospital bills, which, I come on here all the time and I bitch about Canada,
Yeah.
but I will forever be grateful that I have been in the hospital so much in my life and
Mm-hmm.
I've never gotten a massive bill for it.
No.
So I can't imagine your baby needs this. He
Yeah.
needs a heart transplant. And then at the end of it, you're being slapped with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. So I feel for that. I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
It's heartbreaking.
So the family had raised about $10,000 to $15,000 through crowdfunding. So think GoFundMe and all that. This was a small community. This was a
Yeah.
baby, a little boy. And so the community really showed up for them. Friends and
Mm-hmm.
neighbors, strangers, people who just saw a family in crisis and wanted to help out where they could. And they
That's
did.
hard. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a weird history here. It doesn't have a shit ton to do with this case, but I wanted to put it in here because I thought it was weird as fuck. According to Amber, as heard on the body cam footage, the officer is asking Amber if Trent had any enemies. He's like, Amber, like right away. So they've just told her Trent is dead. They're like, Amber, what enemies does Trent have? Like, does he have it out with anybody? And she kind of says under her breath, only my mom. And the officer's like, tell me more about mom. Like, why? And she says, well, you don't have to worry about it because mom is in prison and we have no contact with her.
For what?
Apparently, mom had started a GoFundMe for her dead grandson, Marshall. M- Marshall is not
The
dead.
baby
Marshall
that
is
was alive?
correct. Marshall is very much alive. Amber actually went into details saying that mom took a video for social media of her getting a memorial tattoo on her leg for Marshall.
Stop. That is the most unhinged shit I've ever heard.
Isn't that fucked up? Now, I will be honest with you all here. This was heard by Amber on the body cam footage. When I looked into it to see where Darlene was, her name is Darlene Simpson, or what records I could find, I couldn't find anything that alluded to this.
And in the US, you should be, well, but we are
I
also.
I don't know.
It's
So
tricky.
I'm just saying this was heard on the body camera footage. This is what Amber was telling the police officer. She was like, my mom did this. She's a fucking monster.
Okay.
But she's the only one that we have a problem with. And I don't think this would have been her because she's locked up.
All right.
Now, Ashley, here's where the case gets fucky. And I can't wait to tell you this. The officer asks Amber, he says, walk me through last night and this morning, starting at about 6 p.m. And I'm literally going to read you to the best of my ability what Amber said.
Okay.
Through tears, obviously.
Yeah.
Her man is dead. She says, we ate dinner a little late. We couldn't nap until about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. He was really tired and he got up and I was picking him up and I was sleeping so long because I was so tired too because Carson's been sick. So he was up all night. So I cooked dinner. We had spaghetti and watched SpongeBob or Breadwinners or something like that on TV while we ate. We told the kids we could have a picnic in the living room because they weren't feeling good. And he kind of hurt my feelings as well because he didn't have seconds. And I know he hates spaghetti, but I love it. So we ate spaghetti and I put the kids in the bathtub and he watched something on TV while I was doing that. And Carson and I played Candyland after he got out of the tub and the kids went to bed. They were still late when they went to bed because I know Trent said that, hey, it's way past your bedtime. We tucked them in and we went outside and had a cigarette and we came in and we made some Kool-Aid and we sat down and watched our shows that we had recorded. And we fell asleep watching the last one, The Americans, I think. We fell asleep on the couch and Trent got up about, I don't know, he told me what time it was. I was like 3:30 in the morning. He got up and woke me up.
You're guilty.
Now,
We see this all the time.
now,
What
I am
did
a
you
chatty
do?
girl. I am a chatty girl. Okay. And Matt, if you're listening to this, like, I don't want to hear it because sometimes I am like this.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I work from home. I'm by myself. I mean, I talk to Ashley all day on the phone, but it's not the same. Sometimes when Matt gets home, he gets a literal play-by-play of every emotion I've had, everything
Mm.
I've ate, everything the dogs did, every weather phenomena that occurred outside. Like, he gets the lowdown. However, if I have just been told that my man, the love of my life, has been murdered in our home, I promise you, this is not the level of detail that I am presenting. There's no way.
When you were going through that, I was like, too many details.
Mhm.
Too many details. And we see this all the time.
Mhm.
Somebody's hiding something, so they start over explaining and over talking and they're, going on and on and on. And I think it's like if I give them all the detail, they're not gonna suspect anything. It's just like this weird thing people do.
Yeah. And what we see a lot in situations like this is they've already gone over this a million times in their head.
Mhm.
They have already thought, okay, when the police ask me this, I'll say this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
It's sus. It's really sus. And listening to it in real life, like I read through it for you, I just read the transcript of it, but listening to it in real life is literally shocking. There was a point in the recording where I was like, girl, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Shut up.
Stop. Abort the mission.
And then we played Candyland and we made Kool-Aid. Not important.
N no.
Amber, what did you do last night? Well, the kids weren't feeling well. We had supper in the living room. Uh, I put them to bed pretty late after a bath,
Yeah.
and I fell asleep on the couch. That is all we needed to know. So, so we're going to go back a little bit because we're telling this story after the fact and we're able to piece together all the details. While the outside looked like a family who had been through hard times and come out the other side, the inside was a completely different story. And Trent was only recently starting to figure that out.
Oh, shit.
I imagine Trent got that intuitive feeling in the pit of the stomach that we all get from time to time.
Where something's
Some
not right.
that right, that little
Mhm.
voice that tells us, look a little closer, dig a
Mhm.
little deeper. You're not seeing everything. Detective Sergeant J.L. Sumter of the Emmett County Sheriff's Office said Trent was becoming more and more aware of their financial situation in the days and months leading up to his murder. He was learning about loans that were unpaid, and he was starting to piece things together. So, the loans that were unpaid were in his name, and he did not take them out. So, we don't actually know all the details of how Trent found this out, what led him to look a little bit deeper, to look a little bit harder into what was going on, but something tipped him off. And police assume that he found out about a payday loan that Amber had taken out in his name. Payday loans can sometimes have interest rates of 49%.
You would never get out of that. Like,
Like we
that's
talked about this,
impossible.
I know we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but my personal opinion is these should be illegal
Yeah. Yeah.
because these companies know that the people who are going for a payday loan are so down on their luck.
Yeah.
They have nobody. To
Mhm.
slap a 49% interest rate on that, it's ensuring that these people are stuck with you for years sometimes.
Yes.
Years. People are taking out a $400 payday loan and end up paying almost 2 grand by the time late fees and everything is done. It's
And, like,
crazy.
if you need to borrow, $400, how do
Yeah,
they expect you to pay back 2 grand?
exactly. It's
It's just a
insane.
cycle, right?
Yes. Yeah,
That's
I think it
horrible.
is a
That's a
trap.
horrible.
I think it should be illegal, and it drives me crazy every
Yeah.
time I hear about it.
Yeah.
So here's what was actually happening behind the scenes, because again, hindsight is 2020, and now we have all this info. Amber had a gambling addiction, and not a small one.
Oh.
Amber liked to gamble on her phone, so she had a bunch of iTunes purchases, and she was ringing up several $1,000s in different gambling apps, said Detective Sergeant Mark Harris. As we dug deeper, it turns out she's not only gambling on her phone, but she had started sneaking off to the casinos.
But here's the thing, and we do have to show this woman grace
Mhm.
because a gambling addiction,
Yep,
can be just as bad as a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction,
absolutely.
because,
Absolutely.
it's not frowned upon.
Mhm.
It's dopamine. there's
Yes.
so many things, and I can definitely understand that slippery slope of going, you know, down that hole of I'm gonna make it back, because then it's just a cycle, right? It's like the one more fix, just one more
Yes.
fix. So that is heartbreaking, and I
Yes.
feel for her in a sense
Mhm.
because it's an addiction that obviously she was ashamed of and she was hiding.
Yeah. 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 Exactly, exactly. And I am not going to blame Amber for her addiction in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Because, like you just said, it is such a slippery slope
Yep.
because you start, it's $100. We're
Mhm.
not gonna miss $100, it's gonna be fine. You win a little, and
Mhm.
then you think, "What if I could win more? What
Oh,
if I
yeah.
just go a little bit longer?" And this is how this becomes such a problem and
Yep.
such an issue. So I'm not throughout this entire story, I'm not blaming Amber for the actual addiction of gambling,
Yeah.
but we'll get into that a little bit more.
Okay.
They see that Amber had spent over $25,000 at the casino within a year before the murder. And you have to remember,
$25,000?
this is not a wealthy family.
Yeah.
And the worst part, the money that the community had raised for Marshall, she didn't use it to pay the medical bills.
Oh.
She gambled it away.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, One of their cars had already been repossessed by this point. Their home was being foreclosed on. They were in the process of a foreclosure procedure. And Trent did not know about any of this. So, from what family and friends have said, Amber insisted on managing the money. So, Trent made the money, it went into an account, and he just didn't know what it was being spent on. He just assumed she was managing it, she was taking care of
Mhm.
it. Every month, they still had their phone bill, they still had their cell phones. She would make up excuses with the car being repossessed, like, "Oh, just with the medical bills, like, it's too much. We'll just let them take it. It's fine. We can manage on one vehicle." She always had an excuse for everything, and Trent is thinking in the back of his head, "Well, this is all being paid. It's all being taken care of. We're just going through a hard time because of Marshall's medical stuff." Um, but the worst part is everything was in Trent's name.
Oh.
Everything, everything.
So,
She had little to no credit.
how do you take out a payment, like a payday loan with someone else's name?
Well, it's difficult and it's super shady, but it can be done.
Okay.
And even in 2016,
Yeah.
they had started, it was possible to do this online.
Mm.
So if she had his ID, if she
Yeah,
had all of
true.
his details, it can be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So, with all of the debt that they had in Trent's name, house is being foreclosed on, they've already lost one vehicle, debt collectors, I can't even imagine the
Oh,
calls
the
this
phone
woman was getting.
calls. And Trent must have been getting calls.
Well, no, because she gave her number.
Oh, so he has no idea.
He has no, like, talking to friends and family of Trent after the murder, they said he had started to change, and, like, this actually broke my heart, but in the months before the murder, Trent's sister, Angela, said something was shifting in Trent. She said it was about 4 or 5 months before the murder, she could see that there was something wrong with him, like, the fun-loving, fun-going person that he had been started to dwindle, and every time she talked to him, he'd be like, "I'm just so tired, I can't get enough sleep, I'm," and he was
He's
isolating
stressed.
himself. Right, because by all accounts, he was starting to see what Amber had been doing.
What does he do? It's
And
all in his name.
you know what? Like, we've had a couple episodes recently where we talk about cheating, and this is that same type of betrayal.
Mhm. Yep.
He trusted her. He
Mhm.
thought she was managing their household and managing their money responsibly, to find out there's payday loans, there's other loans, the medical bills aren't being paid, they're coming after them for their house. Like, that would be heartbreaking, and
Mhm.
you would feel so betrayed. And by all accounts, as he got closer to the truth, Amber got more desperate. In the weeks leading up to Trent's death, Amber had put a gun for sale on Craigslist and Facebook. Not just any gun, the gun, or at least a
Oh,
gun. A few days before he was killed, he'd been in talks to buy a 22 rifle. So Amber's trying to sell a gun that they own. In the
okay.
days before, so Trent has no idea that she's trying to sell a gun, because she would be trying to sell things under his nose to make up the money that she's losing, right? So investigators assume Amber knew that Trent was about to buy this rifle. She had access to it or arranged to get it first. So they think that maybe she had said, "Oh, I'll go pick that up. I'm going to be out anyways. I'll go pick it up."
Mhm.
But Ash, it was becoming more and more apparent that this wasn't just a, "Oh, let me help you out." From the very beginning, officers and detectives said something felt off. And, you know, I laugh every single time that we hear a police officer say, like, something felt off, because you can't go into court and say something felt off.
I had a tingle in my toe, like,
Yeah.
no.
But at the same time, how many times have we
Yeah.
read that where they were
Yes.
dead on, where they
Mhm.
knew exactly what was going on? So police had spoke to Amber's rural neighbors, and they all said the same thing. No one saw anyone going to the house that morning. So neighbors had seen Amber leave and return, but no other vehicles, no people, no nothing. Now, it's March in Michigan, okay? There's snow. There's lots of
Okay.
snow. Police couldn't find a separate set of tire tracks or unknown footprints, which you would assume, if someone had come up the driveway or through the field to the house to kill Trent, you would see that. It would
Well,
be
yeah, it's
apparent. There's snow on
impossible.
the ground. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is when investigators started to suspect Amber wasn't telling them everything. Because it's always the little things. Things aren't adding
Mhm.
up. There was no forced entry. Nothing of real value was taken. So the place was trashed, but there was still money in their drawers and tons of guns. Like, remember, Trent trades and buys and sells guns. That's his jam. None
And
of
they
it
were
was
all
taken.
there.
They were all there except for a 22 caliber rifle. So they start looking at Amber's timeline a little bit closer. She said she'd left the house that morning to take one of the kids to school, Marshall, and to take Carson to the doctor's, because remember, he wasn't feeling well. He had been sick. She stopped for food, visited her sister, came home to find the door open. And according to Trent's death certificate, they figure that he died around 9 a.m. So Amber's defense attorney believed Amber was at a quick care pharmacy in Petoskey at the estimated time of his death. So they're like, she couldn't have done it. But prosecutors said that Mallory's time of death could not be exact, and it left a pretty large window, which is also true. So they start thinking Amber killed Trent before she left with the kids. It's the only thing that makes sense.
There's no other option.
No one came in the house. No one left the house. No one drove up to the house. There's no footprints. She must have done it before they left. And then she went about her business so that it looked like she was out and about. But, Ash, they couldn't find any proof of this. Her DNA is everywhere and all over him because they're intimate partners.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the hardest thing to prove because it's not like you're not finding random DNA. There is no
No.
random DNA. She lives
No.
there.
Yeah.
She sleeps in bed with him. Her DNA is all over his body. The gun is gone. They don't even have the weapon. They don't know where the weapon is. They can't prove that it was one of their weapons that killed him. Like, it's not a good this is
Time of
not good.
death?
Time of death, they figured 9 a.m., but even the
Yeah. It
autopsy was
varies.
like, could be 9 a.m., could be 9:30 a.m., could be 6 a.m. We don't know. There's a
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
Remember, he's in a home with a probably like, it's 21 degrees Celsius in the home. Like, it's a standard.
Yeah.
He's in bed. It was really difficult for them to
Yeah.
narrow down the exact time. So Amber carries on with her life. They have their suspicions, but they have no proof. You can't arrest someone on, well, there couldn't have been anybody else. That's not reasonable. Like, there's so much doubt involved in that. Okay. Trent's murder happens March 6th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this a little bit before. Michigan in March is similar to here in March. It's snowy, it's cold. It's like the
Yeah.
last hurrah of winter before it messes off for a handful of months.
The trauma from this winter. Like I'm just
It
like,
was
oh
so bad this
God.
winter.
Yeah.
I know. Somewhere near the end of April, police get a shocking phone call from Amber's sister. She calls to tell them the snow is melting in front of. Now, I don't know if this was her place or her partner's place. Sources were unsure. There's a guy named Mike. Apparently, it's his house. I don't know if her sister lives there. I think she does.
Okay.
So the snow is melting, and her sister, who we don't have the name of, calls the police and says, "Hey, it's Amber Smith's sister. There is what looks like a shotgun in my snowbank outside of my house."
What do you mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And police are like, "Sorry, come again? Who are you?"
What?
Yeah.
No way.
So they're like, "Did you touch it?" She's like, "I have not touched it and I will not be touching it." So they're like, "Okay, we're on our way." They get there and they are looking and they're like, "Yep." And it's a 22 caliber rifle. Looks just like what they're assuming was the gun that killed Trent.
Suspicious.
So police pick up the gun.
Okay.
Okay. They put it in their vehicle. They say to Amber's sister, "Hey, girl, hey, can we mic you up and have you call Amber and
Uh-huh.
confront her about this because we need to know her reaction to this whole thing."
Mm-hmm.
And Amber's badass sister is like, "Fuck yeah, let's go. Where's the mic?"
Damn.
Yeah. So they mic her up. Police park down the road. So sister mics up. She's like, "Let's go. I'm ready for this." She calls Amber and she does a great job keeping chill. I'm going to see if I can post some of this call because I listened to the whole thing. She tells Amber, "I need to talk to you right away." And Amber's like, "Okay, like over the phone or in person?" And her sister says, "I guess over the phone. I found something in the snowbank." And guys, Amber jumps in and says, "Oh, yeah, honey, I put that there."
What do you
And her
mean?
sister says, "You put a gun in my snowbank?" And she says, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just bought it yesterday for protection around the house, but I didn't want to bring it home without Mike because it made me nervous." So she's like, and the sister's like, "Okay, did you tell Mike about it? Because he doesn't know anything about this." She's like, "No, I just dropped it off. I figured I'd stop. I'd pop by today and I'd
You're
tell him
leaving
about it."
a gun outside. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so her sister's like, No, Like, what do you mean? This is ridiculous. And she's like, no, 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 it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Did you move it? And her sister's like, no, Amber, I haven't touched it and I won't be touching it. Please come get your gun.
Now,
So she's like, I'll be there right away.
I have questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think she put it there to try and frame somebody else? Or do you think she was too delulu to not realize the snow was going to melt and you hit a weapon you committed a murder with? Because you obviously did this.
I personally think she hid it there thinking I'll go back to get it. And maybe there was a snowstorm. Or she just is stupid. I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't even make sense.
I know. Well, it gets better. Because she says, okay, I'm on my way right now. I'll go pick it up. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done this to you. And the sister's like, okay, thanks. Now, sister knows and police know the gun is not there anymore because it is on its way literally to the lab to get tested against the shells that they found in the bedroom when Trent was murdered. So Amber pulls up and police are down the road watching this, filming this, okay? Amber pulls up, she gets out of the vehicle, and she's looking everywhere for this gun. And she can't find it. And this is where I was like, oh, Amber, you're so stupid. I don't even know. There's stupid decisions and then there's just stupidity. And this was the moment where I was like, oh, Amber is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
She gets back in the car, calls her sister back because the gun is gone. She did not get the gun. And she says, oh my God, I totally misunderstood you when we were on the phone earlier. It must have been bad reception. What I meant to tell you was I sold the gun to a man named Snow.
Snowbanks? It's like...
I was like, this is not Game of Thrones, sweetheart. Jon Snow is not coming to pick up your evidence. You fucking... Like, what
is going on?
No. Honestly, I had to listen to it 4 times because I was like, I'm sorry. Is this girl trying to... What the fuck am I listening to? It was the most unhinged thing I've ever... So she's trying to tell her sister, oh my God, I misunderstood you. Mr. Snow must have already come and picked it up. So no worries. Relax. I sold the gun. I told him it would be there. He picked it up. It's all good. It's gone. It's gone. It's okay. And her sister says, Amber, what is going on? And Amber stops the charade and says, I wish I knew. And her sister says, Amber, I got to ask you, did you do this? This looks really suspicious. Did you do this? I love you, but I need you to tell me if you did this. And Amber says, no, I didn't do this. And the sister's like, then what is going on? And she says, I wish I knew. She just kept saying, I wish I knew. The gun comes back from the lab. It is a perfect match to the shell that they found in bed with Trent.
Well,
and Amber's fingerprint was on the trigger.
No.
Yep.
You know, I feel like a kindergartner could have done a better job.
What? This will forever be like, listen, we cover cases where there's some stupid shit that goes down. First of all, leaving a murder weapon in a snowbank and being like, I'll just come get it later. And then not going and getting it later is potentially the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Telling your sister, oh my God, I misunderstood you. We had bad reception. Actually, a dude named Snow, Jon Snow. Okay,
she's in her car. She's looking around. The first thing she sees is snow. She's like, snow.
She's like, I didn't mean it was in the snow, that I left it in the snow bank. I meant Mr. Snow is coming to pick it up, you silly goose.
Silly.
Like, what the fuck?
This is so crazy.
It's so stupid. So, surprise, surprise, Amber Smith was arrested on charges of open murder and felony firearm. She was charged on April 21st, 2014, just over 6 weeks after Trent's death. The trial was a significant one. Emmett County Chief Assistant Prosecutor Stuart Fenton said he presented more evidence and called more experts to the stand than in any other trial he had been involved in. I've never had a trial before where I've called 5 expert witnesses because they needed this, right? Like, even though they now had the gun, they now had the fingerprint, they needed to know why. And the motive, prosecutors were clear. She didn't want the community to find out that all of the money that they had raised for her son Marshall had gone into her gambling. And she knew, like, Trent was a really good fucking man.
Yeah.
Okay. And she knew in the back of her head, when he finds out, he's going to leave me.
Yeah.
He's going to take our son, and it is going to get around to everybody that I was just like my mom and I abused the fundraising efforts of our town. And so instead of being a big girl and
Right.
taking responsibility for her actions, whether you are in the midst of addiction or not,
Yep.
you made those choices, you made those decisions. She decided the easiest way, since all the debt was in Trent's name and they weren't married, that if Trent died, she would be starting with a clean slate.
And this just goes back to the fact that, like, you know what? It's not worth a life. All you had to say was, I have a problem. Uh, I need help and I'm very sorry. And then you just deal with the consequences as they come.
I have a
That's it.
problem. I have a problem. I fucked up. I need help.
Yep.
This is embarrassing. Let's move towns and start over.
Less embarrassing than murdering your
And
fucking
even
spouse.
if Trent had been like, you're a monster,
Yeah.
I don't want to be with you, eventually people will stop talking about you.
Listen.
In every single situation, no matter what you find yourself in. And I
Yep.
tell my daughter this all the time because kids are assholes and they're bullying and they're whatever.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
you know, I'm like, next week, they're going to have something else to bitch about,
Yes.
someone else to bully. Like, come on. No,
Mm-mm.
killed the father of her child and the stepfather to her other child, who wasn't even his, that he stepped in and took care of as his own.
Yeah.
So the jury was out for 50 minutes, 50, and they came back and found Amber guilty of first-degree murder.
Yeah. But that's almost
Yeah,
unheard of. That's such a quick
it
turnaround.
was so
Wow.
fast. They were all
Yeah.
like, "You're a disaster." She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Bye, bitch.
Bye. Don't care. I don't care if you had an addiction. I don't care. You took someone's loved one off the face of this earth, a father,
Mhm.
a son, a brother. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Here's a little tidbit in case anybody still feels bad for Amber. Um, like less than a month after his murder, she took out a loan in his name.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's
So,
sitting there calling her mother a monster. The apple doesn't fall far from a tree, Amber. Like, come
uh-huh,
on.
uh-huh, uh-huh. So,
Wow.
not good. Not good. There is a victim impact statement that I want to read before we wrap this up from
Okay.
Trent's mom, Debbie.
Okay.
She had some words for Amber. There is no good reason we are here today. I don't understand why I had to come to this, but it is here and it is real. And I truly have never had a hole so big in my heart. I knew on the day of the murder, you were the one that took him from us. Your actions have changed so many lives. First and most important, your boys. You took their dad, you took their hero. You will be sitting in a prison cell where you belong for the rest of your life because for some unknown reason, you were selfish on the morning of March 6th.
Mhm.
And that's what it is. That's what this whole thing comes down to.
Now these children have to grow up without either one of their parents.
Yeah. So the boys do are in the care of Trent's folks, which again
Okay.
I think is just beautiful.
I know.
They're just
Absolutely.
taking care of their boys.
I love it.
Um, but guys, the answer is never like not that anybody on here is a murderer, but the answer is never murder.
Like,
It's
it's
not.
so blows my mind every time people think they're
Yeah.
getting away with this. They're just you're gonna skip into the sunset. Like, what are you
Oh, and
doing?
she was the worst. Like,
Ah, we hate
if
her.
you're gonna murder,
Uh-huh.
like Mr. Snow, I'll never
I
forget that for as long as I live. When I read it, I was like, I'm sorry. What? And then I had to listen to it. And sure enough, she's like, no, no, I meant like there's a guy, Snow, who's going to come pick it up. And obviously he came and picked it.
like, it's
Unbelievable.
it's
Unbelievable.
so stupid, you can't help
Yeah,
but laugh because it's the
I
dumbest
know.
shit.
So goodbye, Amber. Um, she's been in prison for what, just over 11, 12 years now.
Mhm.
Um, enjoy the rest of your stay. I don't know what to say.
Enjoy the
Um,
rest of your stay.
I'm unsure, but
Yeah.
I am not a fan of you in any way, shape, or form.
No.
No matter how desperate you would have gotten. And you know what? Trent's mom was so right. This was so selfish because she
Yeah.
can go on and on about like, well, I did it for the boys. We were going to have a
Mhm.
clean slate. Nah, bitch, you did it for yourself. Did it
Yep.
for yourself because you didn't think that you could face the ridicule and the judgment and the shame that would have come along with all the community knowing that you blew your son's medical bill money on your gambling
Mhm.
addiction. That's what it came down to,
Mhm.
and that makes you a bad person. So,
Yep. So bye.
uh, so bye. So
Yeah.
that's the story of Trent Mallory. I do feel for his family and friends.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry that this happened to you and that he was taken from a woman that literally he went to bed the night before thinking he loved,
Yep. Yep.
and she loved him. And clearly that was not
It's
the case.
horrible.
So our hearts go
Horrible.
out to you. Ashley,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for
Everybody, thank
sharing.
you for listening. And we'll see you all on Tuesday.
Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.